Hey folks, so this is going to be a really rapid fire bunch of suggestions and tips for lots of different things inside of Schoology. A lot of these are very useful, but Schoology is Schoology, and really the best way to learn how to use it is just to get in there and play around with it. And don't be scared. Like, if you make a mistake, then you make a mistake, and it's okay. Mistakes are how you learn. Step one to being amazing at anything is being terrible at it. So don't be scared to get in there and just make a mistake. It's okay. The kids will tell you and they'll understand. And remember, Google is your friend. If there's a thing that you don't really understand how it's supposed to work inside of Schoology, chances are very high that somebody else has had that very same question. Google it. Get onto YouTube. Look up a video. Don't be scared to just get in there and try. That's the biggest thing I can suggest with you with this program. I've spent a lot of time. I've trained a lot of people. I've spent time with this thing. And sometimes it's not intuitive. It's better, it gets better, but it's not always the way you expect it to be. So don't be scared. Just try. I believe in you. You can do it.
Don't be scared.
Sometimes the courses that show up in Schoology when you land here on the courses page just don't make any sense. And especially if you've got a bunch of courses that you teach like I do, or you're included in a bunch of groups, it can just be a big mess. Go to My Courses. On the right here, Reorder Courses. And now you can move things wherever you want them to go. Beautiful. A lot of people know this, but I know there's new teachers all the time. Not everybody does. Here's how you can make sure that your Google apps are connected to Schoology. When you get it on the landing page, go to Resources. Down here on the left-hand side, go to Apps. And if you don't see Google Drive resource apps already here, click Install Apps, hit I agree, find Google, click it, hit Install. Happy times. Some of you might be new to this whole Schoology thing, so just a quick way that you can get started. Go into one of your classes. Hit Add Materials. Hit Add Assignment. Inside of this assignment window can be basically anything you want. Anything you want. You can put links to external sites, to videos, to PDFs. I just click this little button right here that's link. You can type all you want here. You can add instructions. You can grab something from your Google Drive. Maybe you've made a test inside of Google, or you've made some resource for the kids, or there's a PDF you want them to work off of, or a slideshow you want them to view. You can attach it inside of there. You can do really anything inside of this box. The resource button here allows you to take anything from your resource page, which you'll see is up here. You can add stuff from lots of different resources and link that across. This is a ability to record, and this isn't as good as some of the other options that I've demonstrated to you, like Loom or YouTube, but it does work. You can use the audio and video, and you can allow it to do its thing and then let it do its thing. And you can talk into this and have it record that way for you. The external tools is going to link to all kinds of different things depending on what you have provided here. There's some different resources depending on the books and publishers that you might have gotten things from. But you can do lots of stuff just inside of this simple assignment. On the student side of things, when they look at it, they're going to see basically whatever you put in there with the due date information and however many points it's going to be worth. So this is really the simplest tool, but it's also probably the most useful tool of all of the things inside of the Schoology resources. Now here's a tip that I can show you, but it doesn't actually work yet because I guess they haven't turned the feature on since the students can't get into Schoology just yet. If you go into one of your courses, so I'll go back to that theory course I like to beat up on, you go to course options, you can view course as one of your students. And right now it says I don't have the permission because they're not allowed into the class yet. Again, Schoology going to Schoology. But usually if you push that, it allows you to see what that student sees inside of your Schoology classroom. This can be really useful for if you have all kinds of things that you want to just see what it looks like on the student side. Some people get really into how this page looks. and it can be different for the students than it is for you, the teacher. So it's not a bad idea to go in every once in a while and become one of your students to see exactly how this looks. Here's a really quick one for those of you who are new. When you want to add a test or a quiz in Schoology, go into your courses, find the class you want to make a test for, go to Add Materials, but don't go to Add Test/Quiz. Nope. Use Add Assessment. Build all your stuff here, make it due whenever you're going to make it due. You can set the time, you can set the value of the points, submission, you can enable it from a certain time, disable it now to start with, you can change all this later. You can put a password behind it if you want. You can make it into a category, which a new grading category. Make sure that it has all the things that you want, hit create, and now you will have all of your great question types here. If you use the add test or add quiz feature, you won't have all of these great things, and that's sad because these are good and the other ones are not good. But why didn't they make it just the same? I don't know. It's Schoology. You're welcome. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky, but man, is it going to make your and your students' time a lot more efficient. Go to pixlr.com, Pixlr, pixlr.com. Advanced Pixlr E, this one right here. Don't worry, you don't really have to know what you're doing. Just follow me. It's going to be fine. Right here, hit Create New. Over here on the side, look at all this stuff. You don't care about this stuff. Nobody cares about this. Give this a name like one of your classes. I'm going to name this AP Music Theory. If I could spell, I can't. I'm a musician, not a speller. Width, 1,000 pixels. This is important. Height, 400 pixels. Just trust me. Go with it. Push create. You get this weird, crazy looking thing. For those of you in the know, by the way, this is basically free in-browser Photoshop. You're welcome. This is the text tool. Click Add Text. It'll usually put some garbage here, lorem ipsum, nonsense Latin. I'm going to put the words AP Music Theory. Still can't spell. You can grab this box and move it around. So after you put it in, if you want to resize it or move it around or make it look all cool and funky, you can do whatever the heck you want. I'm just going to make it straightish. Right. You can also resize it here if you want. You can grab it, move it around. You can do whatever you need to do. But right now, we're keeping it simple. Next, go to this tool that looks like a paint bucket. And oops, it looks like you just filled up everything in the world, but it's okay because these are actually different layers. If you want to change the color of this layer, it's not too hard. Go over here to this white circle thing. Find yourself a quality color. By the way, for those of you who teach high school and are on blue days or orange days, make the background either blue day or orange day, and it's color coded for you. Look at that. Now we have a thing that says AP Music Theory. If you want to get all fancy with it, go for it. You can play around with all these tools. It's basically Photoshop. It's like magic. I don't care. Neither do you. Let's move on. Well, what do you do from here? It's very simple. Hit the file, save, and name this thing something. I made it high quality. I named it AP Music Theory. Hit download. Now, depending on what machine you are on, this is going to go to different places. If you're on your Chromebook, you're going to have to go look in your download folder in your Chromebook. I'm on a Windows machine here, so if you're on your teacher's computer, it's going to be similar. You'll get a little thing down here that says Show in Folder. I click Show in Folder, and now it's showing up right here in my window. Great. Now, go to Schoology and find the course that you want to fix the picture for. So I've already done a little test on this. So here's my music theory class. If you hover over the picture right here and hit Edit Picture, you can attach a file and then go find that thing that you just made. Hit OK. And la-di-da-di. Now your course shows up like this. And it shows up like this for your students too. So you can go through and make all of your classes color-coded. And if you want to be all fancy and do cool stuff with Pixlr, you go for it. You can put pictures in here, you can put icons in here, you can do whatever you want. You can go crazy with it. It's got a full layer system just like real Photoshop does. So those of you who know how to do that, great. If you don't know how to do any of that stuff, just follow what I did. You can make this yourself. You can do it. I believe in you. Okay, everyone, this is a spicy one. Shout out to Valerie Anderson on the request for this one. This is actually really cool. So, go into your class. I've made some folders here, day 1, day 2, day 3. Once you've made a few folders, a few things, you have a new thing that pops up under options, and that is student completion. You can set up requirements that a student does a certain thing inside of a certain folder before they can move on to the next folder. For example, day 1, I'll put some stuff in there and I'll show you what's in there in a second. They must complete that in order to go on to day 2, which must complete that before they move on to the material in day 3. And depending on what type of material you have inside of these folders, this drop-down menu changes. It's a contextual box. And some of the things it can change to are actually really cool. You get options like you must complete this, they have to view a certain thing, they have to comment on a discussion board, they have to make a submission, or they have to score a certain amount on a quiz in order to move on for the next thing. Super cool. I'm going to show you just the basic way to set this up, and then you can get in there and kind of explore this. It turns out you can also do this for items inside of a folder. So this is a nested thing. Now we've got day 1, we're inside of the day 1 folder. If you don't know how to add a folder, you just click add folder, and this is reading or something. We'll make it black. Sure. Now you have, again, options, student completion, and you have new things that you can set rules for. For the video, they have to watch this. Now you'll see that there wasn't an option to watch. Let me show you how you can make that happen. If you go back to resources up here, apps, you may not have installed YouTube. I had not installed YouTube. I just installed YouTube. It's kind of interesting. Once you have this, you get a little search bar here. And if you copy and paste something into it, like in this case, I'm going to copy and paste a video that I made earlier today. And I'll put it right there. Search for it, and hey, look, there it is. If I check it, and then instead of when I hit import as embed, this is going to let me put that video into a specific folder. I find my music theory class amongst all that stuff, and I can even say, hey, do we want to put this into resources? If you're going to use this in different classes, you can put this in lots of different things. Hit copy item. Now if I go back to my courses, hey, look, there's that video. You can now grab this video with the mouse, just left click on it, and you can drop it inside of the video for day 1. It's a little tricky. There we go. Got it. First try. So now this video, oops, did it not do it? That video should be embedded in that folder. I said first try and then I didn't get it. Makes sense, doesn't it? Did you go? Is Schoology being Schoology? Yes, Schoology is being Schoology. Sometimes Schoology gonna Schoology. Okay, move. Day 1. Video. Move. Thanks. If you didn't know how I did that, by the way, you can just hit this little gear, find the move icon, and tell it where you want it to go. Sometimes it's easier than the drag and drop function. Video. Hey, look, now we have this. Now if I back out into this folder and I go to my student completion, add requirement video must complete. That means they have to watch that entire video in order to move on to the next thing. So whatever is inside of that folder must all be done in order for them to even get access to the next folder inside of this separate folder that is day 1. This means that you can actually build some really robust and interesting classes just by using these sort of completion rules. Obviously, this is pretty powerful. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with this. You're all super creative people. You can do it. I believe in you. Quick addendum to that last one, I just kind of figured out another little way to do this. I'm back inside of that video folder that I made. I clicked on the actual video itself, then hit Options, then hit Student Completion, Add Requirement, Tech PD Intro, must view the item. There's the thing I actually needed. So there you go. That's how you do that. Same thing if you make this into a discussion board. Here, I'll just go back and show you. Let's get out of this folder. Let's go into day 1 again. Discussion board. Add discussion. Talky talk. Great. Talky talk, everyone. Begin. Okay. Now, student completion, add requirement, member must view an item or post a comment or reply. So there you go. Now you can make it so in order in day 1, they have to watch a video, then put a quiz in here. I didn't put a quiz in here, but you can make a quiz in there if you wanted. Then after they do the video and then the quiz, then they can get the discussion board. Hey, look at that. They must talk on this in order to move on to the next thing, which is in my terribly set up class, reading, apparently. That should probably be moved up here. Anyway, this lets you then control what they do in day 1 before they can even see day 2. There we go. Thanks, Valerie, for the great suggestion to look that up. I appreciate it. All right, folks. Hope you found those tricks and tips at least quasi-useful. There's lots of people at your school who know how to use Schoology and would be willing to help you, maybe begrudgingly, but they'd be willing to help you if you ask. So you can reach out to me if you want, Alexander Smith in the school email, but don't call me that. My name is Alex. Remember, folks, don't be scared. Don't be scared of Schoology.